Hey, this is Mickey. Currently I'm working on a video to demonstrate all the AI mask, sky masking, object, persons, but I thought I would take a quick moment to give you a video on tips on sky masking. Here we are looking at a photograph and we want to start by masking the sky. We're going to click here and choose sky for our masking. Now you can see it does a very good selection of the sky. If we go here and go white on black, it'll show us white reveals, black conceals, and we can see a very good mask by the AI used in Lightroom. Now let's go back to cover overlay. The important thing to remember when we're masking a sky is that there's actually two parts to the sky here. And if you're lucky, there'll always be at least two parts. The first part being the blue, the second part being the fluffy clouds in the picture. If we were to change this exposure on this, we're going to change the clouds and the sky at one time. Now we can use our highlight slider to kind of separate in the shadows, but again, we are affecting the clouds and the sky at the same time, and that's what we want to stop doing. All right, so we have our sky mask selected. What we're going to do now is subtract away the parts that we don't want to affect at this time, and we're going to start by taking out the clouds. So we're going to click on subtract, and we're going to subtract a color range. Now we get a color picker. I just want you to click on one part of the clouds that best represents the average color, and we're going to say that's about right here. When we do that, you can see the red overlay, the mask, is now on the blue part of the picture. And we can refine that with this slider over here. So if we slide it to the left, we bring in more of the photograph's masking, and if we slide to the left, we get less. So we just have to find that happy middle ground where we're getting most of the sky and not much of the clouds. And that's going to be probably right about there. So once we have that defined, we're going to go to exposure, and we're going to bring the exposure down a little bit. And as you can see, we're bringing down the blue and not so much the clouds. So let's tweak this just a little bit, give it a little contrast. We'll turn the overlay off because I just want to see the blue. We'll bring the highlights down a little bit and shadows up, and we might give it a little more contrast. Alright, so that's the blue of our sky. Next we need to change our clouds, or affect our clouds. To do that, we're going to make another sky mask, and we're going to go to subtract, and we're going to go to color range, and we're going to click on the blue this time because we want to affect the clouds. So whatever color we click on, that's what is going to be masked away. So I clicked on the blue, and you can see our overlay is now in the clouds. Again, we want to refine it so that we're getting just mostly the clouds and not much of the blue. Once we have it refined like we like, let's go to our exposure, and we can brighten the clouds up a little bit. We can give them a little more contrast, take away some of the highlights so we can see more of the features of the clouds. I don't think we need to bring the whites up any. We'll bring the blacks up a little bit to get rid of some of that gray underneath. Now this gray is not a nice color to have in clouds. It should be white and puffy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to color, and we're going to desaturate a little bit, not like this. We can go to effects, and we can up our texture to give the clouds a little more shape, and I'm moving the clarity down to make them a little puffy, make them a little smoother. Now we can go up to tone again, and let's see if we can clean up some of that gray that's at the bottom. Give it a little more exposure, bring the highlights up just a little bit more. Go to our color, desaturate it. Now one thing you can also do, blue is part of this gray, and our complementary color of blue is yellow. So if we can add just a little yellow, I mean just a little touch, it'll clean up some of that gray while leaving the whites alone. So adding the yellow will actually take away some of that gray. So if we look at our before and our after, now we have a little gray instead of that dark gray. Alright, so before and after on our blues, before and after on our clouds. And if you want to change the effect as a whole, you have this amount slider. So if you choose the mask you want to work on, You can then take the amount slider, move it back and forth till you get it exactly like you want. Now we'll go to our blue sky, which is mask number 1. Again, we'll take our amount slider and move it till we get it just where we want. And if we look at our full mask off and on, this is before, after, before, and after. See how much nicer that looks? Now for the bonus, everybody knows it, everybody loves it. We're going to select the sky. Under these 3 dots, we're going to duplicate and invert the mask, which means that it'll take away the sky as part of the mask and only have the foreground. And then we can take the tone up, take the contrast up. Let's give it a little color. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 masks. And we take this picture from this to this. Before and after. Well, I hope these quick tips helped you out. If you have any questions, be sure and drop me an email and I'll be glad to help you. If you have any tips for other quick tips, let me know and I'll see if I can get some made for you. I'll talk to you all soon.